Good morning, Michele, Greg. Great to have you with us today, and welcome to Emerson Exchange.
Morning, Randy. Thanks very much for inviting me.
Yeah, Randy, great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Let's get rolling with a few questions. Michele, could you first briefly tell us a little bit about Enbridge and your business priorities?
Sure. Enbridge is North America's leading energy infrastructure company, and we exist to fuel people's quality of life. We have 4 business units. Our liquid pipeline network transports 25% of the crude oil developed in North America. We also have a gas transmission network across North America that delivers 20% of natural gas consumed in the United States. And our renewable power business, we generate 2,000 megawatts of renewable green power, primarily from wind and solar. And then there's Enbridge Gas Distribution and Storage, and that's the business unit that I'm in. We're the largest utility in North America by gas send-out, and we have 146,000 kilometers of pipe, which is enough to circle the Earth 3.5 times. Along with 280 billion cubic feet of natural gas storage, we deliver about 84,000 megawatt equivalent, which is the natural gas peak in Ontario.
Wow. And what is your role, Michele?
My current role is the Vice President of Engineering and Storage and Transmission Operations. So my team is accountable for all of Enbridge Gas's technical needs, whether it's engineering design, asset management, pipeline integrity, as well as safely and reliably operating our storage and transmission network that delivers the gas to our customers in Ontario, as well as transporting gas to Quebec and the Northeast United States.
Thanks. And what are some of the broader company priorities Enbridge currently has?
At Enbridge, we're always focused on safety and reliability. That's always top of mind and absolutely critical for our business. And I think that really was highlighted throughout the last year as we continued to deliver our essential service throughout the pandemic. And we're also focused on growth, whether that's traditional organic growth of our distribution system, expanding to new communities that don't currently have access to natural gas, enhancing our storage and transmission system, or looking at energy solutions to support the energy transition.
I appreciate that. And the subject of sustainability is becoming a global critical area of focus to many companies and countries. Michele, what does that mean for Enbridge?
I think a lot of our customers think of us as the gas company, but they may not realize that we're really helping to lead the transition to a low carbon economy through innovative energy solutions. ESG has always been an integral part of our business. And that's why we're stepping up at Enbridge, targeting net zero greenhouse gas emissions from our operations by 2050.
Greg, as the Emerson Impact Partner for Ontario, Lakeside Controls works with a lot of energy companies in the region. What are some of the trends you're seeing in the market?
We work with a lot of different energy companies, and I think all of them have a long-term drive to sustainability and actually a low carbon future. And by the way, that's part of Lakeside's strategy, but really the way we deliver on that is by helping customers like Enbridge achieve their objectives. If you look at the power generation side, coal and oil-fired stations have been shut down for many years in Ontario, and now we work very closely with nuclear, hydroelectric, renewables. And then there's also some gas-fired sources of electricity that are still operating, and we work with these customers to optimize their operations. But I would say in the overall energy ecosystem in Ontario, Enbridge has certainly been taking a leadership role in Ontario's transition to a low carbon economy. And this power to gas project that we're going to be talking about later is a great example of that leadership.
Thanks, Greg. Michele, one important area of focus for Enbridge is the greening of the pipeline. And that's a perfect topic for a sustainability topic today. Could you please explain the objectives for this and how you're pursuing it?
We've had conservation programs since the mid-90s to support our customers in reducing their emissions and reducing their gas consumption for residential, business, and industrial customers. We're also looking at cleaner technologies for transportation, for example, using compressed natural gas for heavy fleet, and also for heating homes like geothermal. And the third area is where we're greening the gas supply with carbon neutral sources like renewable natural gas and hydrogen. And for hydrogen, As Greg mentioned, with North America's first power-to-gas facility, we're helping use surplus electricity to produce, store, and add clean hydrogen into our natural gas system.
That's great. Thanks, Michele. What is the opportunity for hydrogen injected into the natural gas grid?
The use of excess power on the grid to generate hydrogen and then inject that hydrogen into the natural gas grid both uses the excess power that would normally be lost in the process, as well as greens the pipeline and reduces the carbon content of the natural gas distribution system.
We see a lot of opportunities for hydrogen, whether it's used to green the natural gas pipelines like we're talking about, or a solution to energy storage, or a fuel for either passenger vehicles or for heavy fleet, road, rail, and marine. It's really important that energy systems work together to advance low carbon solutions. And hydrogen, as Greg just said, can be that connection between the electric grid and the natural gas distribution system.
Can both of you tell us a little bit about the actual blending project?
So in 2018, we put our power-to-gas plant in Markham into service. So as we said, that uses surplus renewable electricity and produces free hydrogen, emission-free hydrogen, to balance the power grid. It's the first and the largest in North America, and basically it converts electrical power through the electrolysis of water into its basic components of oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen can either be used or released into the atmosphere, and the hydrogen is stored in tanks for future use. And the other pilot is taking that hydrogen and blending it into the natural gas distribution network, which creates that intertie, and effectively you're storing electrical energy in the natural gas distribution system. Later this year, we're going to be blending a small amount of that green hydrogen produced at our Markham facility into a pilot area in our natural gas system of about 3,600 customers. The hydrogen will be blended at up to 2% by volume and is going to help our customers reduce their emissions without having to change out any of their appliances. We received approval from our technical and our financial regulator late last year, and we'll be starting construction later this year on the project.
Hey, Michele, that's incredible. Could you talk to us a little bit more about what a blending skid actually does?
The blending station consists of two major components. There's the hydrogen injection building, where the high pressure hydrogen supplied by the storage tanks, it's measured and it's regulated to just above the injection pressure. And then the natural gas pressure regulation skid takes gas from our nearby network, measures it, and regulates it down.
Great. And how scalable is a solution like this?
That's a great question. We definitely have ambitions for scaling the hydrogen blending as part of the journey for the low carbon transition and to meet our net 2050 goals. The hydrogen blending project is a pilot, and it was really critical for us to learn about our assets, about our end user equipment, about the need to modernize or develop new codes and standards in the industry, and also the importance of industry partnerships, both expanding this solution as well as looking more broadly at our entire network.
Can you guys give us a little bit more description about what are the challenges in dealing with hydrogen versus natural gas?
The hydrogen's got a very small molecule size, which makes it more challenging to seal off in valve applications. And that was one of the areas of expertise that we brought to the project.
Hydrogen has different properties than natural gas, so it can have an impact on the materials, on whether it's the steel pipelines. It also it has a different heat content, and so you require more volume in order to get to the same level of heat content. We needed to make sure there'd be no material change to the customer experience or our ability to operate the gas distribution network in Markham. But being the first in North America, it meant that we were leading the way for the industry to assess the risks, to develop the overall engineering requirements, and to design the new facilities. Based on our long history of successful collaboration with Lakeside, partnering with them in this project was a clear choice. It was obvious for us. Their experience with hydrogen, and other fuels meant that they had the additional knowledge and resources that we needed.
In innovative projects, early collaboration is often seen as key to the success of the project. I'd like to understand from both of you how collaboration between Lakeside Controls and Enbridge and Emerson overall has contributed to the project.
Yeah, Randy, we have a long history of collaboration with Enbridge that goes back actually many decades. And when I go back to my early days with Lakeside, we were really a supplier of Fisher pressure regulators. And the regulators are being used for building out Enbridge's infrastructure and also to supply gas to their industrial, commercial, and residential customers. Our relationship has evolved over time. And when this opportunity presented itself and we started to collaborate, the one thing that we could bring beyond the relationship that we had working with Enbridge was the knowledge of hydrogen applications with other customers. And we leveraged the experience that we had with other customers that were working with hydrogen. What we've been doing most recently with Enbridge, we're now working together on their higher level corporate strategies, which include digital transformation, and then also this overall leadership in our economy's transition to low carbon. So, I think that's what has evolved over time in our relationship, and that's the reason why I think the relationship between Enbridge and Lakeside Emerson can deliver value on this latest project.
I completely agree. As Greg said, we have been truly mutual partners. We had no experience with a pure hydrogen line. Lakeside came to the table, able to bring resources who had different experiences and design that pipeline for us. And then when we moved into the hydrogen blending project, once again, we reached out to Lakeside. It was when it came time to design and to build the facility. So it's been a great relationship, absolutely necessary to have partners as we move through new technologies or using technologies in new ways.
Greg, as Emerson's impact partner for Ontario, how is Lakeside providing local support and partnership with customers like Enbridge?
Well, I think, Randy, first of all, by definition, Emerson Impact Partners are local. And in the case of Enbridge, we're literally minutes away from some of their key facilities and their head office, so we're always available. And then secondly, Ontario is very reliant on natural gas as an energy source. So as a result, we continue to build our capabilities to support that industry and provide value to the natural gas distribution customers like Enbridge.
Well, this has been a great discussion. Michele, I wanted to give you an opportunity. Any final thoughts for your industry peers at Emerson Exchange for approaching these kind of projects?
Well, we started with low-cost options, low-cost pilots to really try to gain expertise and knowledge, and we've definitely learned a lot. We've learned that it takes strong vision and leadership to make these projects happen. It does take patience. As I mentioned, the energy transition is not going to happen overnight, and new technologies take time to implement. Energy assets have long life cycles. And choosing the right partner, someone aligned technically and strategically, who's also invested in the outcome. I believe partnerships will be critical to meet the targets and truly reduce emissions across the full value chain. And my last comment would be that these projects have really highlighted the value of using existing infrastructure to reduce overall energy transition costs.
I want to thank you both for spending time with us this morning. This is a great example of making positive steps toward a more sustainable energy future.
Thanks very much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share our story.
Yeah, thanks so much, Randy. We really appreciate the opportunity.